What's good, everybody? Hope all is well. This is Zachary King for the Future is Female podcast, and I'm here with the beautiful
Jessica Dixon.
Jessica. How you doing today?
I'm doing well, Zachary. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming through. For those who don't know, please tell the listener audience a little bit about yourself.
So my name is Jessica Dixon. I'm 31 years old. I am an educator. I'm a filmmaker. I am a founder of a women's group called Church Girls, a Single Sisters Circle. I'm a 360 photo booth operator.
All around female entrepreneur.
Yes.
Please tell me a little bit about your entrepreneur journey. What got you on this path?
So what got me into the entrepreneurship path was in 2022, I quit my job as an 11th grade English teacher because I was miserable and I didn't have any income coming in. My mom had to take care of me. At this age, I didn't want my mom to have to continue to take care of me. I wanted to be able to be a blessing to her. So I started to really take filmmaking and podcasting and my photo booth business a little bit more serious. I do work now, but for a year and a half, I did not work. So I was really, trying my best to hustle. It was very discouraging. And it also taught me that I don't need to depend on a job, that I should have multiple streams of income. And I wanted to create generational wealth. I wanted to be able to have something so that when I do get married and have children, that they have something, that they don't ever have to struggle, that they don't ever have to lack. So I really started taking it serious. I did get back into the workforce last year, but that is not my focus. I love my job. I love what I do now, but I also want to be able to have multiple streams. So if something should happen, I'm set up.
No, absolutely. And I totally agree with that. What was some of the turning points that you realized to say, hey, you know what? I can't work for anyone else. I have to do this for myself now. Like, what was those things?
Some of the turning points are when you are at a job that you hate, when you're being mistreated, just feeling like that you're boxed in and you can't walk away because you don't know how you're going to be able to pay your bills. So that living paycheck to paycheck, that really was like, okay, I can't do this. I have to make sure that I'm set up, whether this job acts crazy or not. And then just the way our economy is going, people are getting laid off, businesses are closing, just making sure that we have that income. And I'm a Christian. As a believer, I believe that the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. And as his children, we should possess wealth.
Okay. Well, I understand that completely. With that being said, let's talk about fear and overcoming. Okay. Because I could imagine that when you decided to say, I'm going to step out and become my own entrepreneur, it was a very fearful situation.
Yes, it was.
So how did you overcome that fear?
Prayer. I did a lot of prayer. I did a lot of fasting. There were days where I just had no idea what I was going to do. When you're an entrepreneur, you have to be creative. You have to be innovative. It's not a clear cookie cutter thing. Some days you're up, some days you're down. Some days the people like you, some days they don't. Some days you get in bookings, some days you aren't. So I really had to pray and rely on my faith in order to get me through that time.
Got you. What was the business ventures that you chose to do as an entrepreneur?
So the business ventures that I chose to do, I already had a podcast, if that's what you want to call it, called With Christ I Can. I started it in 2016, but I didn't take it serious. So in 2022, when I wasn't working, I said, okay, let me do this podcast once a month. And then once a month turned into once a week. And I started finding myself being connected with lots of entrepreneurs. And I was like, okay, I can do this. Another venture, I took all my savings and I purchased a 360 photo booth. I believe that God had told me to get the photo booth. I didn't know anything about photo booths, anything about parties. And I bought the photo booth outright. But I didn't promote it like I should have. I didn't know anything about marketing and promoting myself and putting myself out there. I got jobs here and there, but I wasn't really making the money to sustain a lifestyle. So yeah, that was my biggest thing.
No, I definitely agree with you. I too have a photo booth, and I understand that is not necessarily an easy job. You know, when I first got it, it was like crack in the 90s. Everybody wanted it. But after a while, it became really hard. And with so many people having access to it, you know, or, you know, being able to go purchase one or, you know, whatever the case might have been, really came hard to really become substantial, like for that to become, you know, so I totally agree with that. What were some of the things that you did as an entrepreneur that set you apart from others?
Something that I did as an entrepreneur that set me apart from others, I think my integrity really set me apart because, in all honesty, we have to become well-versed in our craft, and I wasn't. So not only was I wasn't promoting it like I should have, I wasn't studying, I wasn't doing the research. So there were times where I went to an event and I didn't have all the materials. I end up giving people their money back because they didn't know, but I didn't feel right. Yes, and I felt like I would be cheating them.
Right. So you mentioned one of the things that you mentioned a lot about as well during this is that your relationship, you say you are a Christian.
Yes.
So you are a more of a faith-based business, like entrepreneurs. Would that be safe to say that about you?
You can say that I'm a faith-based entrepreneur. That my photo booth, I am selective where I go. I don't want to be everywhere with my business, but I invite God in everything I do. So if you get me, you're getting God.
Okay. All right. I like that. So what about the churches and stuff? Are they supportive of you and your business endeavors? I
have done a lot of church conferences and events with my photo booth, but I also do, you know, birthday parties. I've done a wedding. Right. I'm a preferred vendor at the convention center now.
Hold on, let's shout out for that right there. Yes, that's a big thing. That's at the Philadelphia Convention Center. You are a preferred vendor.
Yep, for their employee events. So not every event, but for their employee events.
That's big. Yes. That's big. Let's talk about the tangibles. Let's talk about how you made that happen.
So that was all God because the head of HR, I grew up with her. Okay. And I didn't know where she worked. I didn't know anything. I actually did my very first event at a Women's Day at the church that I grew up at. Okay. She saw me. She enjoyed the booth. Months later, right, she reached out to someone. My grandmom still attends that church. She reached out to someone. They reached out to my grandmom and said, "Oh, she wants to talk to me." A week went by. My grandmom ended up giving her the wrong number. Right. And I looked back at my phone. I said, "Oh, I have her number because shout out to grandma. Shout out to grandma.
Shout out for grandma. Her attention was in the right place. You know what I'm saying? But she gave the wrong number. Shout out to grandma for not knowing how to work her phone.
But I said, "Oh wait, I have her number." I didn't know what she wanted. Okay. I said, "Oh wait, I have her number." I looked back at when I email or text her her video from the photo booth. And I was like, "Hey, my grandmom said you were trying to get in contact with me." She said she was. She said, I'm the head of HR at the convention center. I want to hire you for my employee events.
Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. And that's beautiful. What I also like about that is the fact that you was on your job. And had you have been in a position of where maybe you would have turned your nose up or not put yourself in position, you would have blocked future blessings.
That's right.
A lot of times I tell people when it comes to this entrepreneur journey, you have to be able to look at every opportunity as your biggest opportunity. You know, it's going to lead you to somewhere else. A lot of times people only want to try to go for the big fish. It's like, oh, if they're not paying me this, if they're not doing that, I can't be a part of it. But a lot of times it's those little jobs that put you onto the bigger jobs.
And I will say, I'm glad you brought that up. The event that she saw me at, I didn't get paid for that event. I did that event as a favor to my play aunt because she was the head of Women's Day at the time. And she had done some things for me when I wasn't working. So I did that as a favor to her. And that was my very first event.
Wow, that's amazing right there. That's a beautiful story. So you haven't had a job yet with the convention center. You just been placed on the list.
No, I did. I had my first job I don't know when this is going to air, but I had my first job August the 22nd. And they told me that they will see me for Christmas.
Oh, that is amazing, man. Shout out, man. Shout out to everyone involved. That is a big thing, especially for the 360 booth, man. That is a hard business. Let me tell you, it is a hard business. There's a lot of us out here that has the booth, and to get a contract such as that, it's amazing right there, especially around the holidays, man. It's good when you're an entrepreneur and you know when your bill's going to get paid. It's like, like perfect. I will see you guys there. One of the things that I'm big on in this platform is removing the romantic side of entrepreneurship, especially for women, because, women have it hard, already. When y'all become an entrepreneur, it could be even twice as hard, twice as grueling. What were some of the things that you would express to any woman who is looking to either that's joining a 360 booth or just becoming an entrepreneur and who's also at a job where she's miserable and she's trying to figure out what she's trying to do? What was your advice would you give her?
Okay, so I'm glad that you brought that up. That's a really good point. Because I also have experience with live streaming. And I noticed, not necessarily with the photo booth, but I've noticed with live streaming that sometimes men are respected when it comes to financially. Like with the women, it's oh, thank you,
Okay.
But with the men, it's like, oh, yeah, I'm hiring you. Like a lot of conversations that I've had with live streaming, no money is even discussed.
Okay.
So I've noticed that.
Okay. Well, let me just give you a little bit of pushback. Is it because you're not asserting yourself? Because the reason why I say that is because while I do believe that there are circumstances where women are not getting paid their fair share, I think a lot of it comes down to you being able to say, this is what I'm worth, and proving that value and demanding that you receive it. So I don't think that people necessarily going to give it to you, especially in this day and age where everybody's trying to hold on to a dollar. If there's a way that they could get you for less, they will.
Yes and no, because I feel like sometimes with men, it's not even it's a guarantee. Like you already know you're paying this person.
I don't know. I mean, I've been on both sides of it where I have my fair share of jobs that I worked and didn't get paid. And I'm at a space right now where I am very upfront about because I'm upfront about what are your expectations of me, but I'm also upfront about what are my expectations of you. What are you to do? I'm no longer so green where you could just pay me an exposure. In the beginning, it was very much. It was like, listen, I'm just trying to get on, or I'm trying to practice, and I was like that. But even when I realized when I was practicing, they still was holding my feet to the fire as if they was paying me. It was like I came in there and to film the job, and they're like, man, when we gonna get this video, man? You need to have it by deadline. I'd be like, hold up, I'm not getting paid for this.
Yes.
But then again, so then it changed the conversation to well, how much are you looking to pay, and what price can we come up with? Being in this field, because a lot of it is our own effort. So it's not like you're going out and you're like, hey, I gotta buy this T-shirt, and that T-shirt costs $10, so I must charge $15. Sometimes it's off our own efforts, that the things that the Lord has blessed us with to have, and it becomes a little hard to monetize. It's like, well, I'm doing it. I enjoy taking pictures, or I enjoy being a help to someone, but that stuff right there come at a cost. So I think I would just encourage you to don't walk into any situation not knowing. Don't walk into a situation and don't put it out there that you're expecting to get paid from it as well. So and this is why these platforms exist, because we need to have harsh conversations. We need to have, I feel like far too often when it comes to black men, black women, only thing that we see ourselves talking about is relationships. But we need to talk about our business. We need to talk about a difference in perspectives. And that's why I want to hear that. Another thing, though, kind of touching back on your religious aspect is, in terms of your religion, you choosing to save yourself, correct?
Correct.
So how does that right there, not only just when it comes to you being, for finding a suitable mate, But how does that even tie into like your business and like your value system and everything else?
So how does me waiting affect my business?
Because the reason why I say that is because with this entrepreneur journey, a lot of it is involved. It's not just us. It's bigger than what we're going through. A lot of it falls on having a partner. So by you doing that, like, how was your partnerships? Like, are you able to attract greater partners who be willing to go with you through the journey, not just through your celibacy, but also through your, for seeing your business coming to fruition as well?
I will say, in an experience that I have had, when I first met the person, they were all on board, very supportive. Oh, I love what you're doing. I believe in you. They even sold into me financially at the beginning. But as time went on, and I didn't have time, especially, like I said, I'm back in the workforce, but I'm still doing my entrepreneur endeavors. But during that time, I was not working. So everything was my business. There was no days off. There was me trying to get things done. They told me that I don't spend time with them. They're tired of hearing me edit, because I was focused on my business. My business was my baby. My business was, I didn't know which way I was going, so I had to pour everything into my business.
Sure.
So they were very discouraging. They became very discouraging. And needless to say, the relationship didn't work. And then when you're an entrepreneur, you have to be very careful. You have to discern, ask God to help you discern, because people can have ulterior motives. Do you want me for me, or do you want me for the things that you think that you can get from me?
That's a good point. And how do you determine that? Because I know as men, we go through that a lot. Okay. It's always about, men are being the providers, and men are being able to do this. And part of the vetting process for women is how much is he able to provide? Like I have had involved myself with women, and they're asking so many probing questions. It's like, she just want to see how much I'm getting paid. She just want to know how much, what I can and what I can't do. One of the things for me, how I get rid of that is that I don't do $300 dinner dates at all. Like that is just not my thing at all. I'm at a space where I'm thinking if I'm spending $100 on dinners and lunches, I'm thinking like, man, that was an extra thing of business cards I could have bought. That was a lens, a light, a editing software. Like I think more or less like that. So what I do is I try to get with women who understands that, because if they don't understand that, you're not going to understand my life.
Right.
So I just try to include them in what things that I'm doing, and sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. But it kind of weeds out the fake and the frauds, because it's like, like they can't fake sitting on set with me for a couple hours. You know what I'm saying? It's like, nah, this is not for me. I gotta go. And then also too, I gotta show them what it's like, because I'm in a room with beautiful women all day. I'm filming, I'm doing this. I don't really have after this is over, I go home and crash. Somebody could look at me and say, oh man, you were just editing all day. We were just filming all day. Man, it's a lot that goes with this thing. Right. It's a lot that go with it. So, but how have that right there, your breakup, help you along your personal and your professional growth?
It helps me to know what I'm looking for and what I'm not looking for. I don't necessarily have to have someone who is an entrepreneur. That's not my thing, but you need to be anointed to be with me. So when I say that, what I mean is the support, like praying for me, praying with me about something, because being an entrepreneur and being your own boss, when things happen, you have to fix it. Leadership and entrepreneurship is all about solving problems. It's always something that's going to come up. It's always something that's going to go left, but you have to be able to fix it. You have to be able to problem solve. So not having somebody that will be discouraging and, oh, I'm tired of hearing that, or, oh, here we go again, oh, you doing this again, oh, you doing that again. But you don't necessarily have to be an entrepreneur to understand, right? You can still encourage, you can still pray, you can still be helpful. And my thing at the end of the day, yes, I'm an entrepreneur, but I'm also a woman. So I still, when I take off the hat from being a business owner and doing all the projects that I'm doing, I want to be able to sit back and let you lead and admire you and look up to you and support you.
Right. No, that makes a lot of sense. Switching gears a little bit, I just wanted to know, because, everywhere on social media, there's sex everywhere. Sex. Sex sells everything, at this point. And how do you continuously to maintain your balance and stay on your square to say, I'm not indulging in certain things and I'm going to wait for the Lord to bless me and wait for them things to come around? How do you do that?
Well,
and hold on, let me say this right here. I think what you're doing is absolutely amazing. I think a lot of women can learn from this as well, because I think that too many of our women are succumbing to them indulgences that they see on social media, and they're losing themselves and they putting themselves in positions to where they could never become a wife. So to hear someone that's saying, hey, I'm choosing to hold myself and wait until the right opportunity, I think that needed to be applauded. So I just wanted to put that out there. But let me just ask you right there, because, I'm answering your question.
It's okay. What is the question again?
How do you stay on your square? How do you stay true to what you believe in and not allow social media to sway what you got going on?
I wouldn't say social media is really an influence. I'm rooted and grounded in my faith. Like, I knew at a young age that I wanted to have a family. I knew that I wanted my children to grow up with their father in their life. So that was my biggest thing. That's my goal. And then when I got saved, started to be taught in church, not to fornicate, to wait for marriage. And when I heard that, that helped me realize, okay, that's how I'm going to reach my goal of having a family, having a complete family, where the father and the mother and the children. Did I think that I was going to be sitting here 31 and not and still waiting? No, but.
And that's honest. That's honest.
But at the end of the day, my goal for family and love, the way God says so, is more important. Okay.
No, I appreciate that. I appreciate that, and I appreciate your willingness to stay fast and stay, on, like I said, stay on your square.
Well, it's not easy. I will say that, and I think sometimes people act like it is, but it's definitely not easy.
So let's get into that. Why is it not easy? Why is it that if you know that you want a family and you feel like this is what God is doing, how is that not easy? And I know it's not easy, but I want to talk about it in real time, because there is someone that may be going through the exact same thing you're going through right now, and they might need to hear what you got to say.
So it's not easy because you're human. Like, yes, for me, I'm a Christian, but you're human. You have flesh, you have desires, you have needs. So to constantly deny that year after year and be like, you got to be disciplined and you have to not put yourself in certain positions. Like, for instance, my first relationship, let me say this, my first serious adult relationship, I was 29, about to be 30. My mom had to go on dates with me. I decided that she had to go on the dates with me. She was not sitting there with me, but she would drive me.
So mom was in the car.
She would drive me. I would never let the person come to my house. I would never let him pick me up because I was attracted to him. Right. So just because you waiting don't mean you don't want to have sex. So I was attracted to him, and I knew if I was alone with him that something was going to go down. So
mom was a getaway driver.
Yes, she was.
Mom was literally, in all accounts, mom was a getaway driver.
She was a getaway driver.
She was a getaway. I got to get away, mom. Please get me.
She was the getaway driver. But I thank God, because that was not the person for me. And I would hate to have lost my virginity to that person or got pregnant by that person for them just to not even value me or care about me anyway.
Okay. So do you think that if you lose your virginity, you will lose your connection with God?
I believe that God me personally, or
Right.
just people in general.
No, yeah, of course, yes. You personally.
Oh,
Do you feel that if you was to lose your virginity, that you would lose your connection with the Lord?
I believe that God would forgive me, but I don't. Why should I have to if I know better?
No, like, again, I appreciate it. I'm grateful to hear this perspective. Because again, there's so many times where the world is telling us, and especially our women. Again, I'm really big on this about our women. You know, the other races, I have nothing against them, nothing against them. But at the end of the day, as a black man, I feel like there's some type of responsibility I have to black women. And I want to give black women the opportunity to tell their side. That's why one of the biggest complaints I get is they'll say is, man, how come I don't see you on the camera? It's weird. I'm just hearing this one person. It's not about me, y'all. Right. It's not about me. It's not about me and what I'm going through and so forth. It's about you explaining your story unapologetically and uninterrupted. Okay. Right. So, but with your entrepreneurship, do you think that because you're not having sex, do you feel that you now have a greater advantage over people who are? Because now you get to focus 100% on your business, whereas with them, they had to focus on their mate and so many other things that come with the can of worms with having a relationship or being in a relationship.
No, and I say that because just because I don't have a mate and just because I'm not in a relationship doesn't mean that that's not on my mind 24/7. Like, honestly, I think it's nobody there, but that doesn't mean I'm not thinking about it. Oh, when is it going to happen? I'm going to this event. Am I going to meet him there? Like, that doesn't mean it doesn't consume. But I will say not having sex allows you to have clarity. There's no emotional ties really that I have with anybody. No soul ties, no emotional ties. I'm not thinking about, oh, where's this person at? And, oh, is he cheating on me or whatever the case is? But you still have problems. You still have issues. Okay. You still have things that you have to pray through and fight through.
Right. No, I understand. Listen, when I came home from jail, I didn't have sex in my first year, right? And I was under the depression with my mom. She used to always say, I got to give you the PG version. But my mom used to say, if you can't afford them, you don't need to be involved with them. Okay? Sure. And she didn't mean afford them meaning you got to fund their lifestyle. She don't mean all that. But she meant it like being a man comes with certain responsibilities. And if you can't adhere to them responsibilities, you got no business involving yourself with that woman.
That's true.
So being in a halfway house, I was like, I'm not getting no girl. Like, I don't want no woman in this situation. The crazy part about it, all that was the pushback didn't come from the guys like telling me, yo, we need to go ahead. The pushback came from the women. The women that was like, you sure you don't want to? You know what I mean? And I'd be like, well, it's not I don't want to. I just wanted to be focused on what I needed to do. I didn't want to be that guy that was sitting around there, got all the chicks sitting in the halfway house. Right. Who gives you the biggest amount of pushback? Is it the guys or is it the women that tell you, go ahead, girl, go ahead, go stick your toe in the water, it's fine? Or is it the men that be like, girl, you'll be all right?
Nobody never asked me that question. The guy, the last one I was with, he gave me pushback, of course, because he had a motive. But I will say, I don't really get it from guys because I don't date just to date. Okay. So if I don't see myself marrying you, then I thank you for the compliment. Thank you for the flirting and all of that. But you're not going to get my number. We're not going to do any of that because you're not somebody that I see a future with or that I think that I will marry. So I don't really communicate with a lot of different men. Right. There has been women my age that are not Christian or not on the path that I'm on, and they if we having girl talk, they'll just be like, oh, you need to do this, oh, you need to do that. And it's like, thank you. But let me just stop talking to you right now because you're not helping.
Right.
So, yeah, I guess women, and I'm not going to say pushback. They think they're helping.
Right. So it's coming from a place of like, they mean well, but it's just like, girl,
you're not helping me.
You ain't really helping right here. No, I get it. And I mean, I can imagine what that must be like, because when I finally did get in a position where things got a little bit better for me financially, I wilded out a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Because I was like, again, mine was more or less like financial reasons. Mm-hmm. Like I just felt like I didn't want to be that guy. I felt like I wasn't seeing my daughter regularly because I was in a halfway house. I wasn't seeing my daughter regularly because I didn't have no money to go fly and see her or to do anything for her. And I didn't have any money because I wasn't working consistently. So having a woman coming in my life, it was just like, that's a distraction, you know, especially whereas like for me, I'm very much like, man, I got a goal. This is where I want to be. And I think that's another reason why I involve women in my life, because it's like, I want you to see this life is not for everybody. Right. You know, this life is not for everybody. You gotta have your head screwed on tight, because there's plenty of times where I make so much money where I'm like, man, I'm going to buy me a mermaid today. Okay. And then there's other times where it's like, man, I got to get me a couple fish nuggets or something, because that's all I can afford. I mean, it's real. And if they don't understand this journey, it could get crazy. Tell me about a time where you talked about some of your fears. Tell me about a time where you might have had like a little bit of self-doubt, where you might have felt like, man, am I really on the wrong road? And not just so much of your decision to stay celibate, but just as in what you're like, it seemed like I'm working as hard as I can and seeing like everything around me is just falling apart.
Yep, this week.
Okay.
Literally this week, because I know we talked about the other business, but I recently started a single women's group called Church Girls. And we are planning for some upcoming events. And it's not getting the traction that I desire. I even had an event a couple months ago, and all these people signed up. And I was so excited. I had all these activities planned. Not one person showed up but the person that I brought with me. I was so discouraged. And I'm like, God, did you tell me to do this? Like, am I called to do this? Are you sure? And literally this week, I'm just like, Lord, let me know, confirm, is this what you would have me to do? Because, I understand money is tight. I understand all these different things, but I'm like, even when I post something, right? I'm creating content. I'm prayerful about the content that I'm creating. I don't want to just post stuff just to be posting stuff. I don't want to follow the trends. I want what I'm saying to be meaningful, because this is a group that I wish I had, right? That's why I started the group. This is something I wish that I had to encourage me as a single woman. But it's like, people are seeing it. It says seen by this many people, but not one person is commenting. So I'm like, I have them same arguments. If you look at my TikTok numbers is like, for every video is like almost 1,000, right? Mm-hmm. But I might only get 3 likes, and it's like, how does 1,000 people see something that's for free, and then yet I can't get, like, it don't cost you nothing to double tap something. Yeah. And then I tell you, one of the most discouraging things that I went through with this is seeing people. I also have a women's group, and I seeing people in my women's group comment on celebrities' pages. Like, I have people who be wishing celebrities happy birthday, and I be like, you didn't even say good morning to the group, but you would say happy birthday to Kevin Hart or somebody. Like, they not thinking about you. You saying, I wish you the best, Beyonce, on your marriage. And I'm like, but you didn't say, this woman is on my platform spilling her heart out, talking about her childhood traumas. And you says nothing, but you want to got the nerve to tell Cardi B you sorry about her divorce? We go through it. That is a real thing. It's a real thing. And I could just tell you, like, because I'm a very put my money where my mouth is person too. So everything that you see, all the platforms, everything, the marketing, the everything, it came from my dollar. Nobody gave me nothing. Now, that's not saying I'm self-made, because I'm not.
because I done got plenty of referrals and things that happen on things and conversations that happen for me in rooms. But in terms of a dollar right now, a lot of it has come from my own. So I could just tell you that for someone who's going through it, stay strong, because only the strong going to survive. I'm serious. Like the only strong. This world. See, I think that like before social media was truly a big thing, there was a way where a lot of undeserving people could kind of go through the radar, because there was not like the social media eye that's watching you. Mm-hmm. But now you got to earn your stripes, and you got to earn them. You are competing with a lot of people. There are a lot of deserving videographers. There are a lot of 360 girls. There are a lot of 360 photo booths out here. There are a lot of people. And it's Cassine, you got to understand too, also social media, not saying it's not real, because it's a place, but it's not the place. It's like, it's still a lot of fake stuff that goes on there. It's like this, what they call the metaverse or somewhere. It's like, it's a real world, but it's not real at the same time. So I would just encourage you to don't necessarily just put in the work. Forget looking at that. If you're doing the planning of an event, get a pulse of the people, like talk to them, find out, call them, hey, individually, what's going on? Y'all down? What's happening with this? And then also too, that may give you a chance to really look around and see what it is that you're doing wrong. Because maybe you had the right message, but the wrong delivery, And also I'm understanding this too, because we had 2 women that got on the platform recently who have marketing companies. The thing that makes it so much different between kind of us and them is we have this, we could do it all by ourselves type of mentality. And sometimes you got to go spend that little extra money to go get that, get somebody, because there's nothing like holding somebody's feet to the fire. You give them a couple grand and you can say, hey, my platform ain't reaching the level where it's supposed to be reaching. What's going on with that? But whereas if you do it yourself, it's so easy to go to sleep on it and say, I'll tackle it tomorrow. But that's what their job is to do. Mm-hmm. So I would just encourage you for one, because I love what you're doing. And that was the reason why I wanted you to get you on my platform, because it was like, listen, if I go open you up to my viewers, we have the same thing. We both got the same booth. We both got networking groups. We both got podcasts. But I also wanted to extend the olive branch to say, hey, listen, I ask a lot of people, a lot of black women, what can we do as black men to help? And sometimes I get the same, just listen. And I'm like, no, what action can we take? This is me taking action. I don't have no crazy, millions of dollars, but I got a platform and I'm willing to have it and let you speak your truth on it. So if I could help, before we close, and I was long-winded. Dang, I'm sorry, you guys. What can we do to change? What can we do to help out our fellow black women entrepreneurs? Not even relationship-wise, but what can black men do to help out? And especially so a woman like yourself, because we often hear a lot about the women that are out here twerking, acting a fool, shaking their behinds everywhere. But here we got a woman that's fully clothed, dressed, and trying to save herself for something that's of substance. So what can we do as men to help you along with that journey?
With entrepreneurship, not relationship.
No, just entrepreneurship for now.
Okay. I would just say, be honest, be your authentic self. Like, no games, no trying to get over. Just be your authentic self and let people decide if they want to work with you, if they want to get involved with you. We're too old to be playing games, whether business, whether relationships, whatever the case is. We're too old for that. Like, we need to be helping each other. If you're not going to help, move along.
I can respect it. With that being said, please tell the folks where you're going to be, what you got going on. Let's go ahead and get that out the way. And then, I'll let you go. I appreciate your time having you here. So you can find me on Facebook, Jessica Dixon. I have a women's group, Church Girls, a Single Sister Circle, if you're interested in that. We also have married women in there as well. We like their perspective. We have events. We do something once a month, Facebook Lives, different teachings. We have a sneaker ball coming up Saturday, December the 14th from 7 to 11 at the Marriott. We have an amazing program put on. It's going to be speed networking, amazing food,
It's just going to be an all around good time. Get dressed up, enjoy the holiday, enjoy each other, enjoy God. Even if you're not saved, you still want to be in a room. It's still enjoyable. It's still empowerment. Our motto is empowerment, sisterhood, and preparation. And that's pretty much it.
I thank you for your time, your effort, your energy, your story, your perspective. I appreciate having you here, talking about something that's so vulnerable. Like it's a truly. So I'm truly grateful for this time to have with you. With that being said, I'm Zachary King. This is the Future is Female podcast. We out.